Oh, right, Autograders with Paul and Sam. Yes. So annoyingly, because it seemed like we were done. Yeah, I mean this failure is coming from the spring. I mean, as far as I can tell, it's coming from this grader here, which is the main production grader. I mean,
Oh,
I guess.
you're on camera there.
Am I?
Uh,
All right. Sorry. Yeah. Um, let's choose the old screen share. Um, no, at least it's the last homework in the course. Um, but yeah, I was trying to hit. I've got it set up here. Assignment 6, part 1. That we're on the Berkeley 169X part 2. If I go back to here, yeah, so this is the submission element. Yeah, that all matches up as far as I can tell. I mean, I guess. I mean, I kind of I'm not immediately sure like um, what's on mech. I mean, I could hit it again and trail the logs. I'm not sure. All right, it's going to
I
rag.
just wanted to see where I could submit something and potentially.
Yeah. Oh, and in fact, so I'm in the. Yeah, I was doing this just from. This is the live. I mean, the homework hasn't gone live, and I guess we don't have. Yeah, in this home, I don't know if we even like in the previous. If I go to um, the 1691 instance, um, there was some. I don't know, there. If we look in the courseware, we had these automated things for hitting production and staging. Um, but yeah, I think only up to homework. Yeah, that was just there. I never created anything similar for 1692. Um, and I'm just kind of like looking at this error message and sort of, oh, this was the chat from that guy Christopher Milne. Um, anyway, here, no such file or directory. Is there some additional setup step that we maybe need to do for homework 6? Like homework 6 needs a some special version of rotten potatoes.
Um, I don't remember. One thing I was trying to find was all I see on the repo, even in HW, is
Mm.
just the public. I don't
Yeah,
see,
there's nothing else.
yeah,
As far as
where
I can tell.
I mean, weren't you looking at a controller or that was just yeah, like where's the autograder part? I guess is it must be
Well, I mean,
somewhere.
the autograded part is, I think, in wrap. But yeah, but there's no, we don't have, like, I think it's just the public part. We don't have an autograded part.
But
That,
then, okay, well, I thought
I
you were
mean,
looking at the grader itself, where it was looking for
oh
a.
yeah, no, I was doing that, and that's the migration grader, which is just it's like one of the kinds of graders in the RAG.
Oh, that's migration. Okay.
So yeah, it's the migration grader, which I haven't really looked at apart from you know just giving it an overview. I mean, mm, we've got things like this base app path. It makes me. What was I going to do? I was going to go over here and go to. It makes me think that uh, what I want or what might be useful intelligence is this document that this was like the user manual that this group of TAs created. Um, And I think down the bottom of this, it'll let me get to it. It's got different homeworks, and it's got like setup instructions for different. I don't know if it goes down to the performance grader. Homework 3, homework 4. Something about projects. Homework 5. That's typo. Okay, it doesn't have anything. I must have gone through setting it up to work on the previous. I guess if I go to Studio edX, like and go to the full. Yeah, that's the full. Because I think the other grader is still working. I guess it might be sensible to just check if homework 2, measuring performance and indices, submission. Let's edit a draft of that. Right, that was the previous. And I think that grader is still running. Let's just check that if we do that, and then, so I always love to have a working example on something. You're looking for your keys.
Yeah.
So I think what it's going to be is it's going to need this additional version of like if we look at that homework 6, it says base app path migration grader bottom potatoes. If I look here, I see there is we don't have that base app path. That would imply there should be, we would expect to have a migration grader in that directory. If I do an SSH here to AWS EDX, which is, that's the old production grader. And if we look here, yeah, you can see we've got a migration grader in there. Okay, so LS here, raw potatoes. So, okay, so we have migration grader raw potatoes in there, but that doesn't even seem to be in any kind of, So yeah, we have a version of, but maybe, I said, okay, so maybe that,
Branch?
ah,
I
hold on,
remember.
maybe, hold on. Okay, no, it is, okay, right. Yeah, it's a branch. Yes, so this is the sauce but raw potatoes. So it's a particular version of It's a particular version of that. I don't know.
Richard Marks version, it looks like.
Yeah, the homework 6. So in principle, what we need to do to make this work is on the root, we cd into the migration grader this. And right, and then we need to do git. Let's have a look. If we do git branch minus a, no, git branch minus a, right. So we need this one to this. I guess I guess we can do make a local copy of that RGM HW6. Right, so that's then in the same status as everything else. Now, I guess what we don't have is we don't have any of that in our Ubuntu install for the Autograders.
Right.
I guess this is starting to look different. I guess you've made some changes in here, I guess, that I've pulled in.
Yeah. Let's see, is that...
So I guess we could just have a note in here that says for migration grader, this is performance. A directory migration grader will be required in the root, and inside the, or is it RJM HW6 branch of the
Sassbook rotten potatoes.
Yeah. Of the okay, is required. Okay, so at least that's a note that we have that, and then that was what I should have done first. Really, was I should have okay, but that was me pointing it at the new system. That was the old system.
Right.
If we go and look over here, okay. So this now we want that back to that. And here, more rags. That's the queue name. And we save that, and we replace that, and we jump that into here, and then we reload this page, and then hopefully the homework is working.
And where was that YAML file that told you where to look for the rest of it?
Just here. That was one of the root YAML files. Now we've got the homework 4 YAML and the homework 3 YAML.
All right. So in rag, basically, with all the other.
That's just yeah. I mean, I think, and what I should be doing. Did I have a rag window already? I did. what I should just do in there is let's jump back and jump into get this here, get performance home. Now, obviously, that could be something that would be automated in a future deploy, but okay. Well, hopefully that's okay. So that looks like that worked. I guess I'm interested to see if I'll just do here nano migrate and 201.4.4.7. If I just interested in seeing what error message it gives me if I don't have the things in there. Okay. So, right. Leaving the chunk of stuff to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that seems like that.
And it tells you the field too. That's good.
Yeah. Yes. Although, yes. I mean, it's sort of yes. If you hit it once, it's giving you the solution. But anyway, I mean, I think it's yeah. Okay. So that grader is in place. So I guess.
Should we try to capture the solution thing and put it into?
Yeah, that would be at least put the solution into the CI.
Yeah.
Thing in the places that we have them. Should I even go and look at that? I guess what I should do here really is go and rerun. I guess I shouldn't delete it and then no, I can always recreate the database now. It's interesting to think about what would be the command to create it that would capture. But so it's add index to review. But so what it seems to need, I don't know if I can do. I just wonder. It leaves me wondering: is there a Rails index migration syntax that's particular, or it's like a shortcut?
Add index to is not full.
So your generator, Rails generate migration add index to users. Does not. This would be more appropriate. Oh, okay, this is like. So that's. It seems to be there. It's like add index to reviews, and then we have to specify the column that we want it to be on.
All right, and index after.
I don't know if we can do indices to reviews. So then. I mean, it seems like it didn't need the. I don't know. Let's always say. I mean, it's a moviegoer ID index like that. So yeah, I mean, I've got them being told to do pair programming on this, but so they can't really ping pong it. Okay, but so then.
Did you do rollback or how did you?
No, see, it does the add column as well. Which is, no, I didn't roll back. I mean, I could just drop and recreate the database.
I mean, if you that would be fine. Well, I guess yeah, you'd have to know to get rid of what's already there.
I'm wondering if the syntax there is that what that generates. Yeah, that's the same thing. I wonder if that. When's this from? 13. Yeah, it's probably for a more recent version of Rails. Maybe, and that would generate that, or maybe it's that it has to be explicitly indexed to user. Oh, actually, that time around I did it with I just deleted it twice. Do the generation. What that will do. I mean, it's ridiculous. I should be going and looking inside with the Rails generator. No, actually, I think these are actually, maybe it was some of those were working on. I wasn't looking at the right thing. This is silly, isn't it?
Is it?
But that, at least that very latest one there. So I think the problem is I open that. I must close that before I look at it again.
Well, it gives you a new file every time, doesn't it? When you do.
Right. Otherwise, I'm not seeing the results of my activity. Oh, see them there, and I just do a delete again. Oops. But I'm kind of thrashing there. I'll do that. Let's do this last one. No, still had some in each case. All right, but so we know that
Those columns already exist.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the solution. But so,
I mean, would it be fine to run it that way? Would it be idempotent as far as the add column?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that would cause a problem. I mean, and people may migrate them, might generate an empty migration and then write it in. So I think it's yeah. So if we go over to that's rag indices-performance. Oh right, but we don't want the solution going in there. So I think maybe I haven't git clone HD. And where have we been? Do we have a solution? Is it usual to have a solution directory in the CI?
Yes, I think it's solutions plural.
Right.
And then before there was lib inside of there. I'm not sure if we've been holding on to that, but
yeah, I mean this, I guess, is kind of inside. The solution here would be like particularly like it's nice to have a solution that you can also submit directly to the grader. So it would make sense here to have. Is it at least it seems to be migrate. Like here, right? We have migrate. I always think it's called migrations, but anyway. And then, so, oops. If we make a migrate directory there, and then we go inside it, and then we do nano. I don't know, just call it test.rb at the moment. Holding this stuff there, and then I just go and get religious credit. We've got it's called something like that. And then move RB. And yeah, there we go. So one could, I mean, I guess the interesting thing here is that actually the solution, maybe it requires, like if we look at the syntax to generate this, is it's running that, it's actually tarring up the entire migrate directory
Yeah.
with the full contents of the migrate directory. So I think, in principle, we would be wanting to be copying from the indices performance it's going to have db migrate. All of those things here should be in, and I've done that from the should be in db migrate solution. Oops, no? What's wrong with that? I'm doing copy from one. That's weird.
Minus stars? No?
Yeah, I want to do star.rb to copy them to, do we not have, I'm already in the DB directory. Okay. Okay. So, right. So that's the kind of stuff that we're after. So, and anyway, that's reasonable. If we do git status on that, git add solutions, git git commit -a to solution, git push or.
There might have been a couple other items in the tracker that had something similar where we had like a deployed solution, but we didn't have the code, now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take.
Yeah. I guess, have you been recording my screen or your screen this time?
Yours.
Yeah, I mean, not that. I don't know. I guess there is. I go out to Yarrow's criticism. In some ways, when we produce all these videos, I think that they're not, without some sort of curation, they're not immediately useful. You know.
Quite.
I mean, in order to sort of track what somebody just did, or to catch up with the most recent Scrum or whatever, it's useful to have the videos of them. But yeah, there's such a need for curation. Anyway, but so okay, so at least that assignment is there and it's kind of working, and we've got the solution in the CI. I guess the question of how would we run something to, I mean, I guess it would be a similar setup to the other things in that, I mean, I think we can run a test of this from the command line, like the that's what we do with like homeworks 3 and 4 and so on, whatever. We just issue the, we issue the
Autograder command directly on it. Yeah.
The command grade 6, like presumably there's some, the grade 6 command is expecting, there we go, it's expecting that homework 6 YAML, and so I mean, in principle, if one is in RAG,
Yeah.
then you do grade 6, and one does the migrate .tar.gz and homework 6
Yeah.
.yaml like that, and
It'll say where's migrate.targz.
well, mine will say like it can't load the Ruby debug thing or what have you, but that's another story. But so I guess the like the process of in principle, the infrastructure of the grader is not so different from, of the CI is not so different from
Previous things we've done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just wondering about what the best use of both our time is now, about whether it's, look, we've got the Go on.
I still have to do the Rails intro one, so I could do this one too, I guess.
Mm,
And
mm. Yeah, we've got the client meeting coming up there. Uh, okay, I'm just checking on my emails here.
I was kind of having a bad feeling when I was copying the same files, those features to so many directories. I was thinking maybe if we had a curl it from a central location, yet another repo, I guess.
Well, I mean, would the argument, if we've got that much commonality, would the sensible thing to be? I mean, whether it could be cloned out of another repo. Well, actually, one of the things I noticed actually is that you can even have gems stored in repos. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that much use to us outside our own project. But yes, I mean, there's a but well, maybe that's the thing to look at now is for either two of these things. Like let's look at what the bits are and what the commonalities are. So, I mean, I guess if I have a look in here at, let's pop that in a note somewhere. Oh, my brain. What's going on? I'm lost. No, I was in here, and then so I've got a Rails intro CI. But were you saying you were just about to start working on the Rails intro CI? Is that's on the to-do list?
Yep.
Yeah.
BDD TD Cucumber or Ruby intro.
Yeah.
Be
But so get full origin.
And then I've been customizing the steps, because it just seemed like, oh great, now we can simplify them and take out some of the.
Oh yeah, totally. That's what it's all for. Yeah, I mean, I guess
all they need to provide really that's different between the two, or between the different repos, is what's the name of the grader that they're trying to call, and which YAML file, and what input, so. There's a little bit of difference, but you could have some kind of adapter,
Yeah. I mean, I guess in my mind, the priority given I don't know the homework. I guess where I want to get to is I want to be able to really delete the homework repo, or at least kind of retire it, so that it's kind of like not sitting there as a big beast that's preventing us moving forward. So, I mean, in some ways, if we've got the Rails intro CI is just sort of a question of dragging the bits out of the Sourcebook homework repo. Is that right?
Yeah, that'd be a great starting point. Definitely.
You haven't done anything yet on the Rails intro CI.
No, I just started to drag some files around here just now, but
okay.
Haven't done.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking I could just I could sort of start. My head's not coffee.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I was just thinking that I could just sort of start doing it here, and I think you understand probably better what's going on. But almost, is it as simple as I need to go into here, and then I go into homework, and then I've got Rails intro, and then here we basically need the autograder in here and the solutions. Is that
solutions, right?
So we need the autograder to come over. It doesn't like that.
And the README, I think I guess we must have a README, but I don't think it's maybe as good as that README.
Okay, yeah. So let's bring across the README. Okay. So, ooh, that doesn't. I guess I kind of that's taken everything from no. Okay. Can I just do that? Does that get rid of? No. Okay. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I can do this offline if you want to, get prepared for your next client meeting
yeah.
or.
Well, that's what I'm. I don't know. I'd in some ways I'd rather work on the code. At least I'd rather look at this with you briefly. I think what I should have done there, of course. What's probably easier to do is if I do this, and then that gives all of this, and then we just do -rf, the public repo, which we don't need. So that gives us Autograder and solutions like that. No, I've got a to-do thing in there. But okay, so this is it keeps on occurring to me that actually one way to make a simple local running grader of these things with mechanize would be rather than trying to translate them expensively into the RSpec or Cucumber, which could be done, is just point mechanize at a locally running server. Maybe that's what you were doing actually with your thing originally. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, anyway. But so I guess then we also need to have the features in the install set
Right. Yeah.
from
HW. Yeah.
Right. So it would be then in HW. So we've got the features, and we don't necessarily need all of the features, but I guess I might as well copy them. I guess if I copy them across like that, it's gonna dump them.
There's probably one called Rails Intro that you could
Right,
use.
right. Well, what it seems like I want to do first is I want to do like a mkdir features and a mkdir install. Do we even need the install anymore?
I guess it depends.
I think we probably do because we need to have the thing that installs rag first.
Right.
And so then if I copy there, and we look again here.
In fact, that was something, I was thinking, well, if this is now not for deployment necessarily, we could get rid of the install feature and just have a script that says, clone. Like one-liner instead of a whole.
Right, it could be pulled in. I mean, it doesn't have to be, since there's only a single feature. It could just be, in that single feature as a background step or what have you.
Right, but then if we end up trying to come up with a generic solution, it's nice to keep things as generic as possible.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, so
we always have HW to refer to, I suppose, so we could always get the generic stuff back from there.
Yeah, I think the trick is, I don't know, I might be wrong about this. It seems to me that the trick is in the first instance just to have each of these things working, and then once they're all working, then they can be referred. Maybe I'm stupid and that's the wrong way to go. I don't know.
And that's the way I was going too. And then after doing like 3 of them, I was thinking, oh no.
Yeah.
Time to refactor after 3.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. That's my rule of thumb. But so that's then, in principle, that's all of the pieces that we need for. And does the grader at the moment? It still just runs the grader against, Armando's long-running instance, right? Yes. Right. Okay. So it's not actually. It doesn't need to check out the.
That was the other one actually, where we were looking. Where's the code, anyways?
Right. Yeah, and I guess we need to copy over. We need to have a Travis thing as well. From presumably we've got like a Travis template, which is in. I guess it's the same.
It's pretty much the same, yeah.
Oh, it's .travis. and that just gets pulled over here.
I think you have an N there. Oh, is that an M? I can't see.
I think I've got it there. So is this? I mean, basically, I mean, maybe that needs changing, but that's the bottom chunk.
I think we may not need the Ruby Racer 0910 to be installed before everything. Yeah. Now that's the other thing with this repo is like I'm not sure if it's what version of Rails it's on still. I don't know if we updated it.
Yeah, although this one is not actually running any Rails machinery.
Oh, right.
Because it's just doing it on the remote thing. So, but I mean, I guess that's a reasonable thing as a first install.
Yep.
And so git commit my. Right. So what we need to do is push. We need to have in Travis and all those new repos need to be turned on, don't they?
Yes.
So. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess for me, I kind of think like so I'm going to be in about 10 days. I'm off to Japan, and
wow.
I'm trying to. Well, I can't.
Is that your summer vacation destination?
Yeah, and so this is Java CI. Are these the private ones? Those SaaS book. I think, but I always feel like I can't. Will it let me go there? No, it won't let me go there.
Pro. Or .com. Yeah, that's it.
I think here we go. I have to click the plus, and then I have to click this one, and then I have to and say we want right, and sync now and look at those repos. Yeah, I feel like, and I'm going to be in completely different time zones, and I'm not necessarily going to be. I'll be with the family and so on. My plan in my mind is to try and work through the textbook, because I'm kind of officially the editor now, and right. I know that there's like heaps of like problems in the later chapters. I think we kind of at least superficially fixed up chapter 4, but just the rest of it's a bit of a joke, and I kind of
walking through the whole book.
Yeah, just although it also occurs to me that it's kind of it's potentially really big. Do you know what I mean? Like the actual process of getting all of the code in the book all fixed and all up to date is kind of it may be quite a large undertaking. I'm wondering if that's actually whether that can even be done. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I guess you could make a class to do that.
Yeah. I mean, the way I'm also looking at it is Makers Academy wants me to go kind of full time with them in the fall to help build their new online product, and which includes integrating, which might involve Autograders. So I'm kind of like, how can I get everything to sort of fit together?
Yeah.
Properly. Yeah. I guess what I'm noticing here is what we don't have. So I guess we're missing the Ruby calisthenics repo and anything. I mean, I guess we've never had CI for the legacy homeworks, and even thinking about trying to do CI for the legacy homeworks makes me
for typo.
Makes me feel sick. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine that something on Travis that had to like install typo each time and then check that it works. I guess we could have the equivalent of the Rails intro CI that just hit, a working instance to check that the things are working. But
yeah, we could start to do, our own CI where it would use Jenkins, or it would, hit EC2 or something that would be around a little bit longer, so you wouldn't have the caching problem. Although supposedly you can do some caching if it's a private repo.
Would we need? I'm not sure why we would need. Oh, you mean right? Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
wouldn't have to, reinstall the gems every time. It would just try to pull it from
Right.
S3 or something.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, I mean, the ironical thing with the typo one is, oh, I guess that becomes starting to become my least favorite homework in as much as, I mean, unlike the other ones, it's a legacy homework, so it doesn't need to be upgraded, but there's a, as time goes on, it becomes even older and older. I mean, they might as well be working with COBOL. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah. Pretty soon you'll have to install old hardware to be able to.
right, right. But I guess I should sort of create a Ruby something. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm doing a lot of stuff with Makers at the moment. It's all Rails 4, and it's all bright and shiny and new. And you know, I'd like, I'd like to move
Yeah.
on and
Are you
never
guys
do.
on 4.1.4 or 4.1.2 or one whatever?
Oh, I don't know which one. Just
Yeah.
probably 4.1 something.
And like very latest Ruby too, 2.1.2.
Yeah, Ruby 2.1.2. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think what this is. What do I have? This is skeleton code and specs for the Rail Ruby calisthenics assignment. Okay, and that one should be private, and initialize it with the README. Yeah. So I guess I'm. Yeah, I mean, it seems like the performance CI one should be relatively straightforward. I guess the question about how to refactor the entire system effectively is a good open one. But now, in principle, with the last thing out of the way, that's something we could be looking at on Thursday or even next week on Tuesday.
Do you want to turn on the Travis for this, or did you already?
Yeah. Well, I was just going to start off by going to the Teams and making sure that you had access to this one.
There you go.
So, Autograders Dev, repository. So that's added in there, and then Travis, if we do sync now. So I haven't finished the bonus videos, but is it Tuesday today? I could do the bonus videos on Thursday, because the critical thing is having the, I don't know, I guess I could re-record the performance video. I think I've left that one for quite a long time. Okay, Ruby Calisthenics is on. Yeah, okay, so we've got Ruby Intro, Ruby Calisthenics. We've got Rails Intro. We've got BDD, Cucumber, BDD, TDD. And then we've got the indices-performance CI. So, yep, I mean, we're all there apart from the typo, which never had an ECI in the first place. Yes, it would be nice to. I just get sick of all these homeworks. It would be nice to move on from these and actually having new homeworks and what's the other word? Like actually developing new features on the grader. It's frustrating. I mean, I've realized I think with local support, we're still kicking features out, but I feel like we have too many tests now. I think we have it too tightly tested. And there was a system I was doing with Michael. We were building this compiler, and we use a lot of mocking and stubbing. And it seems clear to me in retrospect that it was just like too much testing. Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of like partly the desire for this CI is to have something in place so that when we make changes to the grader, we can check, we can have a reliable test for whether the other things are working or not. But yeah, I don't know if it's I just saw these two books that were mentioned by Jesse Toth, which were the Clean Code and Practical Object-Oriented Ruby, Design for Ruby, which is by Sandy Metz, who's
or whatever, right?
Yeah, and the RAG, it's a horrible mess. Do you know what I mean? Like it seems to have been written by people who really didn't have any sense for, like look at this method. It's you know, it's kind of, I feel like the thing, it's got like slash and burn. It's really procedural programming, right? There, you know, it's a bit like we're in kind of,
Autograder.
yeah, no, it does. There's some sort of something going on. I still don't have a good picture of it. It's like we're kind of in the middle of the forest, and I wonder if it can ever be tamed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe I need to go and read books on those cleaning code and so on. Anyway, yeah.
I'm kind of curious, with your Rails projects for makers, are you guys using, you know, a lot of concerns rather than trying to have multiple inheritance, or?
I mean, the Rails projects themselves at the moment are not getting very complex. I mean, I think that you know, in the space of the course in makers, it doesn't allow for projects to get very complex.
Right.
What's interesting in terms of the Rails stuff that they're doing is that the guy who manages the Rails part of the course, he doesn't use Cucumber. He just uses RSpec. He does features in RSpec.
Right. That's yeah. There's definitely a good thing about that.
He doesn't do view specs. He doesn't do control specs. He only does model specs, and you know, that makes it all a bit lighter weight.
How about request specs? I remember at one time people were going that way, and
yeah, John was really into that. No, he does feature and model, and he says that's, you know, in the industry that's what he sees a lot, and I can see that making some sense. But you know,
I'd be tempted to do some controller specs.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, it's interesting to see different people's approaches. He's very skilled with CSS. It's beautiful to see him work with CSS. It's wonderful. What they've done is they've done a couple of different, like they've done an Instagram clone and a Yelp clone, and just sort of add in the functionality. But the number of relationships involved is not high, and unlike they really sort of every day they're showing, like, let's use a different plugin to add some functionality rather than building a large amount of functionality in Rails. So the Rails code itself, from what I'm seeing, is never getting that complex. So they're really talking to, you know, how can we do things in Rails, and the students are struggling with, like, what's the sequence of the flow in Rails, like that it goes from this, and which they're, you know, gradually getting, and so on. But the demonstrations of things that you can do in Rails are far more interesting than anything that Armando does, in that Armando kind of just demonstrates some abstract Rails things, whereas, for example, like this is with the curriculum material from this guy on Monday, and I wrote using Stripe, and basically it goes through creating a devise admin user who can see orders model and then adding a payments functionality to it, right? And in the process of an hour there, you see very cool functionality from Devise and Stripe that you get relatively for free, and you see about you know, the generation of a new, you know, test-driven development of creating of a new model that can only be seen by one sort of user. And you know, so I'm talking about a deal with makers whereby you guys from Agile Ventures would have access to their curriculum materials, because we're going to try and start running makers sort of after work clubs around the world, and you know, like so there'd be like kind of meetups and so on that people would be doing, and you know, if for anybody who's interested in getting involved in that kind of makers outreach, then I think we could get you free access to the makers materials, which I'd love you guys to see, because it's they've got some really good stuff.
Yeah, I definitely would, you know, be interested in this.
Yeah, good show. Well, maybe I'm going to take a quick break, and before the what's it called, the beta sauces meeting, and maybe I'll see you there. I guess there's a few bits and pieces to do with the CI, and then hopefully, yeah, we can loop around and start identifying more fun things to work on. Good stuff. All right.
Talk to you.
Thanks, Paul. Bye for now.